Long before humans ever reached for the stars, the planet Xyr'Tal was a battlefield. Its skies, swirling with cosmic dust and violent storms, belonged to the star dragons. These were not creatures of myth, but beings forged in the hearts of ancient stellar nurses, their scales shimmering like molten meteorite, their roars echoing across the canyons like thunder from a dying galaxy. For centuries, a powerful alien empire, the Xyr'Tal Dominion, had tried to tame these colossal beasts. They saw them as living weapons, the ultimate tools of conquest. But every attempt ended in fire and ruin. The star dragons could not be controlled. They were a force of nature, as untamable as a supernova. Then, humanity arrived. Cautious and curious, Earth established a small research colony named Odyssey at the edge of the Dragonscar Canyon, a vascusim carved into the planet's surface by millennia of dragonfire. They kept their distance, studying the magnificent creatures from afar, respecting their power. For months, a fragile peace held. The colonists lived their lives, shielded from the grand conflicts of the galaxy, content to observe and learn. But peace in this corner of the universe is always temporary. The Xyr'Tal Dominion, obsessed and desperate, had learned a secret. A rumor, a whisper carried on solar winds, spoke of a star dragon egg hidden deep within the canyon, a source of untold power for whoever could claim it. And so they came. The sky above Varian 5 tore open as the Dominion's war armada descended, a fleet of jagged, obsidian warships blotting out the twin suns. Their goal was simple: seize the egg, burn a human colony to the ground, and finally enslave the power of the dragons. On the ground, the defense was led by Commander Lia Hunt. She was Earth's fastest combat pilot, a woman whose reflexes were as sharp as the fins on her hypersonic interceptor jet. She was the first line, the last hope for the small colony. Fighting beside her was an unlikely ally, Draven, a rogue, Xyr'Tal defector. He had once served the Dominion, a soldier in their relentless expansion, but he'd seen the cruelty of his own people and chosen to stand with humanity. His knowledge of Dominion tactics, their only real advantage. The initial assault was brutal. Plasma cannons rained down, turning the red rock of the canyons to glass. The colony's energy shields flickered and strained under the relentless bombardment. Leia and her squadron of pilots fought with everything they had, their jets weaving through laser fire like angry hornets. Draven coordinated the ground troops, using his insider knowledge to predict enemy movements and set up devastating ambushes. But the Dominion's numbers were overwhelming. Their forces breached the outer canyon walls, their armored soldiers pouring into the valley. Just as all hope seemed lost, the ground began to shake. It wasn't the impact of weapons. It was something deeper, something ancient and powerful, waking from a long slumber. A roar, deafening and primal, erupted from the depths of the Dragonscar Canyon, a sound that ripped through the very air. A colossal shape launched into the sky, its wings slicing through the storm clouds. It was a star dragon, as massive as a capital battleship, magma-like light glowing between the cracks in its cosmic scales. But it wasn't alone. 5 more followed, spiraling into the heavens like living comets, their bodies trails of gold and crimson flame. The colonists watched in terror, believing their end had come. But the dragons weren't looking at them. Their gaze, burning with the intensity of 1,000 suns, was fixed on the alien armada. They were hunting. The sky became a canvas of breathtaking destruction. The Dominion warships fired their main cannons, unleashing bolts of searing red plasma. The dragons met them with torrents of golden gravity flame and blasts of white lightning. It was a battle of gods and machines. One dragon, its hide tougher than any alloy, simply crashed through an enemy cruiser, shattering the warship into a million pieces of glittering debris. Another coiled its long, powerful tail around a dropship and hurled it into the canyon depths below, the explosion a silent flash from the colony's viewpoint. For a moment, it seemed the tide had turned. The dragons, the planet's true masters, were defending their home. But the Dominion had one final, horrifying card to play. From the belly of their flagship, something monstrous was unleashed. It was a genetic abomination, a perversion of life itself. They called it the Bio-Titan. It was part dragon, part machine, and part Xyr'Tal bioengineering. Its wings were made of razor-sharp alloy metal. Its claws could tear through shields, and its throat burned with the unholy glow of antimatter fire. It let out a shriek that was louder than thunder, a sound of pure, manufactured hatred, and dove straight for the human colony. This was their true weapon, designed not just to fight dragons, but to annihilate them. Lia didn't hesitate. She pushed her jet into a vertical climb, weaving through the inferno of the sky battle, dodging the scorching wind from the dragon's wings. Below, Draven activated his own secret weapon, an alien gravity lance, a forbidden Xyr'Tal artifact. He leaped from ridge to ridge with superhuman agility, his eyes fixed on the descending monstrosity, determined to join Lia in the fight. The Bio-Titan landed with the force of a meteor strike, flattening half the battlefield and sending a shockwave that cracked the colony's main dome. It began to charge its primary weapon, a swirling vortex of antimatter gathering in its mechanical jaws, a blast powerful enough to vaporize the entire settlement and everyone in it. Over the comms, Lia's voice was tight with desperation. "It's too strong. We can't stop it alone. I need the dragons. I need them to understand we're not their enemies." That's when Draven made his move. He stepped out onto a high precipice, directly in the path of both the Bio-Titan and the circling star dragons. He dropped his weapon, spread his arms wide, and began to speak. The sound that came from him was not a human language. It was a series of deep, resonant tones. The ancient draconic resonance, a forbidden alien tongue that vibrated with the very fabric of the cosmos. A language only a handful in the galaxy knew. The effect was instantaneous. The star dragons paused their assault, their frantic, fiery dance halting in midair. Their eyes, previously burning with rage, now glowed with an intelligent, focused light. The largest of them, a majestic creature whose scales seemed to contain entire constellations, the celestial matriarch slowly lowered her head. Her gaze fell upon Draven, then to Lia's jet streaking past. In that silent, profound moment, an agreement was passed, an understanding that transcended words. Dragon and human were now allies. What followed was a symphony of coordinated chaos. Together, they struck. Lia hit her cannons, scoring deep gouges in the Bio-Titan's armor plates, drawing its fire. The distraction was all the matriarch needed. She unleashed a torrent of gravity flame, a unique power that bent space and time, warping the air around the Titan and causing its metal hide to buckle and groan. As the beast staggered, Draven made his final, desperate leap. He drove the gravitalance deep into the Bio-Titan's chest, right into its core, destabilizing its antimatter heart. The Titan let out one last, furious roar sound of overload, of failure, and then collapsed in on itself, vanishing in a blinding, silent implosion of light that lit up the entire planet. Silence. The battlefield was still. Then, the celestial matriarch lifted her head to the stormy sky and released a victorious cry, a sound that echoed not of rage, but of triumph across Variant 5. What was left of the Dominion fleet, terrified and broken by the alliance they had unwittingly forged, turned and fled into the blackness of space. Lia's laughter, shaky and relieved, crackled over the open comms. On the ridge below, Draven dropped to his knees, utterly exhausted but alive. The star dragons circled above them, no longer creatures of destruction, but guardians, their forms like a crown of living suns in the sky. The matriarch descended, landing before Lia's jet with a gentleness that defied her immense size. She lowered one massive, star-dusted wing toward the human pilot, a gesture of respect, of partnership, an honor no human had ever been granted. An alliance was sealed, not with treaties or words, but with fire and courage. From that day forward, humans and dragons shared the skies of Variant 5, and the small colony became a beacon, the first world in the galaxy where the flames of dragons and the steel of humanity fought as one. Thank you so much for watching this story unfold. If you enjoyed this journey to Variant 5, please hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next adventure into the cosmos. See you Next time.